Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure today to have you here for discussion on a very interesting topic brought to you by the International Organization for Education Development, IOED. And talk is today on the role of education, skilling, reskilling, upskilling in the rural communities and their empowerment. And this is one area which requires real due deliberations and a very pragmatic approach where we think of how we're going to skill people, how we're going to empower people, how we need to reskill those people after some time to get into some kind of a newer jobs, have a job creation, work on a methodology of getting all the communities moved to the next level. So that's the kind of importance this particular topic has, and this has got a real future to think for, and work on those kind of things unless and until we think of tomorrow, how are we going to do it and what are the imperatives of skilling people. It's a very important topic to discuss. So today I have a very elite panel with us, elite dignitaries with me today. I have His Excellency Cyril Garbuchi. He is the former Prime Minister of Moldova. I have Dr. Arvind Sharma. He's the Executive President of IOED. I have Major General Astana. He is the IOED representative to United Nations at Vienna. I have Dr. V.D. Abraham. He's a renowned educationist and representative to United Nations, Geneva. I have Edwin Gabriel. He is from Romania. He's the IOED ambassador. I have Dr. Mark Andrei. He's a senior advisor to UN Habitat. And it's really wonderful to have all elite panel, elite people today and discuss on this particular topic. So what we'll do is the sequence of the event would be, I will have the inaugural session, inaugural speech by Dr. Arvind Sharma, followed by the speech by our chief guest, His Excellency, former Prime Minister of Moldova. So I'll request Dr. Arvind Sharma to share a couple of words of his wisdom. Dr. Arvind Sharma.
Sir.
Yes, please, sir.
Good afternoon, eminent panelists, my friends and dear participants. I welcome you in today's virtual conference aimed at role of education and skilling in rural communities. Gentlemen, the IOED with its hard-working team have been striving hard to uplift our global community through its various socio-economic developmental projects. As you are already aware that the IOED has got UN Special Consultative status. In the year 2020, the expectations of the UN from the IOED has increased a lot. And I feel proud to say that we are committed towards our aim and support UN in achieving sustainable development goals. Today, I would request all my panelists to discuss core issues to be addressed in the rural communities and with their expertise, how we may initiate our projects in rural areas across the globe as soul of a nation resides in its rural region. With this note, I hand over the steering of the conference to our moderator, Colonel Inderjit Singh Bararaji, who is the strongest pillars of the IOED. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words and the vision which you have. A few words about His Excellency Cyril Garbuchi, sir. His Excellency is the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Moldova. He's the president of the National Auto Sports Club and Ecoform. He's an additional representative of the IOED at United Nations Vienna. He participates in a high-level operation initiatives, including process re-engineering, turnaround management, and reorganizations. And he respects and leverages the human capital motivate and mentor and lead talented professionals. What a wonderful, ethos you have, sir. It's really a privilege that we have you here today. And live the culture and lead by example. That's what his motto is, and he's passionate about guitar and the car sports. Real warm welcome to you, sir. And we'd like to hear your thoughts for the conference. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone at this event. I would like to thank to Mr. Sharma and his team for all these organizations. And of course, I would like to welcome the new members to this event. Dears, I think we all live in the time when the technologies are beginning to become a part of us. For example, my phone today, in my phone, I keep more than tens of thousands of pictures. In my computer, I have a lot of files and maps, which number I already don't know. And my computer is arranging the maps and the files in such a way that it's becoming easy and more convenient for me to use. The phone I was talking about is arranging the pictures according to the year, to the date, to the hour, or even according to the location where these pictures were taken. If we talk about my music player, for example, it's already making a separate map of the most listened scenes or songs I am listening in my player. And on top of this, for example, my watch is telling me from time to time that, okay, I need to breathe, or I need to make some exercises, or I need to move. So all this, and together with all this, we can say many other examples. And the information flow that we have around us is enormous. What I understand that physically, me personally, I cannot handle all this amount of information and all this amount of data. By creating a powerful technology, I think the humanity managed to by this changed a little bit our life flow. The data processing and control is moving to algorithms, and I think this is an irreversible process. Huge amount of data. Can we handle all of this? Are we ready to give all this to so-called artificial intelligence to be handled? What would happen when the control and lead will move on the side of artificial intelligence? These questions appeared when humanity managed to create something that is more intellectual and more smart than our own potential to handle this amount of information. What we have to understand is that the algorithms are already following and learning us. They are learning us through the way how we act. The way they will treat us in the future depends on our own behaviors, depends on our attitude to everything, and attitude that we have towards the planet in general. The climate change directly depends on the man's activity, day-by-day activity that we have. And these changes are affecting not only the humanity, not only the people, but also the whole animal world of the planet. And because of this, it is very important to talk about so-called ecological justice in some countries, some specific countries, but also in the context of all the planet. We are part of the planet, we are part of this system, and the most important thing, we depend on it. We depend on the planet and on what is happening on the planet. only understanding us and feeling us and understanding that we are a part of this planet or of something very big, by understanding this is it will start and it will change and it will sort of make our contribution to the climate change and the fair treatment to the animal world as well. There is a nice author called Alvin Toffler, and he has written a book called Shock of the Future. In his book, the author is bringing a question about what is a psychological norm. He is supposing that the man that is not ready to change or not ready to adapt himself to the changing reality is a damaged man. He formulated in different words, but meaning that the man has to understand that the world is in a continuous change and transformation, and he wants to adapt to the existing reality. He needs to adjust and to set up his mind in such a way that he would be going easy to adapt. And all this adapting behavior will help him to avoid so-called shock of the future. The appearance of artificial intelligence gives all of us the possibility to rethink our attitude, again, like I said, to everyone, to everything, and to all that it is around us. The algorithms are formed out of our needs, out of our interests, out of our attitude towards everything, and including the environment, including the animals. And then I think if the algorithms are done this way, I think we have to take big thoughts and always analyze what we do, how we do, understand that we have to be very rational in creating the behaviors in such a way so in the future the algorithms will treat us proper. So it's in our hands today to act very rational, to act correct in order to be able to create a better future for us and for our next generations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and a very wise vision what you are given, and how the technology is shaping our lives, and how we are really working on to make our life better, and how really the technology of AI and data science are really going to be the forefront of our future, which is there. And now I will move on to the next thing, that is the panel discussion. And today in the panel discussion, I have a very elite team which is there to discuss on this very pertinent topic. I have Major General Asthana, and General Asthana, he's been a representative of IOED. He's a veteran infantry general with more than 40 years of experience, of varied experience in national, international fields and the United Nations. He's former ADG of Infantry of the Indian Army and head of training at Defense Services Staff College, Wellington. He holds very prestigious appointments while in service. Now also, he's been awarded twice by the President of India, twice by United Nations, CEE Excellence Award for Nation Building by Governor of Haryana. He's a very prominent, person on the topic of international relations today. Every news channel, every day covers him up with his vision and his thoughts. And it's really wonderful to have you here, sir, on the panel to discuss this particular topic. Then we have Brigadier Dr. V.D. Abraham. And Dr. V.D. Abraham, he's a Sana Medal holder, gallantry. He's a doctorate from Jawaharlal Nehru Technical University, Hyderabad. and is IOED's representative at United Nations Geneva. He was the vice chancellor of many universities. Earlier to that, serving as a brigadier, he was in electronics and mechanical engineers of Indian Army. He was also the dean of the Faculty of Instrumentation Technology, Army Engineering College at Vadodara, Gujarat. He was holding the appointment of a ADC to Honorable Governor of J&K, and he also has held a lot of prestigious appointments during Army. Then we have uh, Mr. Edwin with us. He's Edwin Gabriel, is IOED's ambassador and resident representative to Romania. He's a faculty of European Relations and Foreign Affairs at the Foreign Affairs Department. He's a motivated and a professional individual, having consultant positions, having expertise in body language techniques and communication skill, and really wonderful to talk on this very pertinent topic today. You're welcome, Mr. Edwin Gabriel. Then we have Dr. Markande Rai, and he is a very prominent personality, and he's a senior advisor to the United Nations Human Settlement Program. He is the chairperson of a joint advisory committee, which advises UN offices at Nairobi. He has served as UN Habitat in various roles for 17 long years and was elected president of Nairobi Staff Union from 2000 to 2003. And he was a recipient of Hindu Ratan Award in the year 2006. He has served on the board of academics, cultural and social bodies in different countries. In 2009, he addressed the European Union presidency seminar at the Swedish Parliament in Stockholm. And really wonderful, sir. What a profile you have, and real warm welcome to you as well, sir. Then with this, we will start the panel discussion, with the topic. And while I open the discussion here, I will request the elite panelists to bring out their views on the talk. So I will request Major General Sana to begin with, and then we'll go one by one.
Thank you very much, Inderjeet. Thank you, IOED, for giving me the opportunity to be speaking on such an important topic, which is very close to all of us. And I think the kind of mission which we have taken as IOED, this topic certainly deserves much more attention, and the same is being given now. So therefore, I think the topic per se is of immense importance for the humanity, for the global community, as well as for the national and international affairs. Now, coming to the rural part, bulk of the world lives in rural areas. There is no doubt about it. We all know that education, while is easily available in the urban areas, its outreach into rural areas has got some challenges, although things have been improving and improving for good for quite some time. It is said that education is the cornerstone for inclusive growth of any country. There is no doubt that unless people are educated, their social potential, their leadership potential, their productivity, their economic potential, nothing gets harnessed. And therefore, it's necessary that for the social prosperity, for economic prosperity, and even for social justice, education and a right to education is important. Most of the countries have got something called as right to education, but then have we been able to create facilities in the villages? That's a question mark. But we do find certain very bright sparks, and with my experience, I'll highlight some of those sparks. A number of us may not be aware of a village in Maharashtra called as Ralegaon Siddhi. Now, in this village, we have an activist by the name of Mr. Anna Hazare. I think every Indian knows him. And in his village, when I happened to visit it, there is a school which he has created in that village. And in that, he has said that anyone, any child who does not feel that he should study, or anyone who feels that he has given hope with his child for studies, he should send his child to my school. This school is located purely in a rural area, which was brought, which was totally, I mean, there's no rains there, and had a very serious problem of water. Now, when I went there, I found that there are people coming from as class A cities like Pune, like Mumbai, coming and studying in that school in Ralegaon, Sindhi, is in the heart of the village, and staying in a, shall we say, PG accommodation. Now, this is the way, and the way that school was being managed was something worth seeing, being managed by children, and everything in that school was voluntary. Similarly, not only he, there were number of disciples of his who adopted this model, having done engineering, having done the best of the, collected the best of the degree. They came back to their villages and started something like this. And I found that in that village, the product of that village was to an extent that the per capita income of that village was more than the per capita income of Pune and Mumbai, which are one of the frontline towns of India. Now, this is a model which started from the rural area. If a time has come, I think, when instead of the villagers migrating to towns for better facilities and better education, there is a need for a reverse migration for us to create better infrastructure in villages to be able to give all kinds of facilities there. And how it can be done. There are other models now, because I'm basically talking on the practicality of the model. Theoretically, so many things can be said, but how it is actually being done with whatever we have seen, I want to share that with you. Now, we all know the industrialist called as Tata. When he has tea gardens, now in his tea garden, you will find that he will have the best of the hospital and the best of the education system. So therefore, people in that area who are working, they get the best of all the social infrastructure. In addition to that, the people in rural areas have a very serious problem, that they have a labor problem. They have to work, then only they can earn. So therefore, the education will have to be combined with the work. And that is where vocational training comes into play. So they do follow the vocational training model also, so that his work as well as education gets combined in some manner, and his productivity at the end of the day increases, which also helps him in the economic benefits. So therefore, the reaching out to the villages is becoming increasingly important, because expecting that the rural education will take off at its own, that's not possible. The government can help. The policies are being framed. The new education policy which has been rolled out in India, and I'm sure in the other countries also, similar positive policies would have been rolled out. But the success of those policies lies in how they can be implemented on ground. The other point which is coming up is what the international community can do. ECOSOC can do a lot of things. UNESCO has got a lot of programs, and these programs can also be made use of. Now the question is of the reaching the rural population, because obviously, like in a scenario when we have COVID, reaching out to rural children is difficult. So therefore, the internet penetration, the mobile penetration is a must, and therefore it is incumbent on all the governments to ensure that at least a child and the family has at least one mobile which has got an internet facility. Unless that happens, that may not be all the schemes may not actually reach them. So in a scenario when we have COVID, last 1 year, I think this has been the scenario. And in the urban areas, the education is still on. People have adopted to online model because they can afford online model. But then there are other methodologies even in villages. Certain villages are using the kiosks. There were kiosks being made in for the governance. Now those kiosks, when the governance is not being, or no activity of governance is taking place, can be utilized by children for as a school. So that is also something to improve the reach. So the reach needs to be increased, the infrastructure needs to be increased, the awareness needs to be increased. And I think these are some of the initial thoughts which I have. And last point I would like to make is, when it comes to the importance of education, it reminds me of a country, Taiwan. We all know that Taiwan is a island which has got very less habitat. They don't have any mineral, they don't have anything, they have very less population, and they don't even have land. But one factor made it a developed country and sure that it has got per capita income 5 times China. And that factor was, when Chiang Kai-shek went there, he started off saying that everybody must be educated. It must be 100% education. Today, almost 30% of Taiwan is in schools and colleges at various times. And by the strength of that education, they became masters of communication hardware in a manner that 60% of motherboards of the country at some point, of the world at some point of time, of computers were being produced in Taiwan. And they excel in so many things as far as the software industry is concerned. So it is all because of education. I have seen their governance model, I have seen their development model, and I've been there to see that. And I found that there was one factor which made all the difference, and that was education, education, and education. There are other models also where there were reachability. When reach was not there, the religious institutes started the teaching faculty. For example, churches had a major role to play in Mizoram. In Mizoram, despite all the kinds of, it's on for people who don't know, in our country it is one of the remotest corner, and again the reach was not that good. But the churches started the education. Today it has got 97% of literacy rate, which is not there even in the heartland states of India. And all this because it was initiated there, and then everybody caught on, and then everybody was English speaking, and then there is a chain reaction because you have more teachers, you have more educated people, and then the chain reaction takes place. So I think these are some of the ideas which I can, which comes to my thought initially. I'll take my turn later. Thank you. Back to you, Inderjeet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was really wonderful, and you really gave the perspective of how really the things work and what's wanted and what is required by us today. Seeing the earlier scenarios and how it can be, taken as a lesson, and what should be our future. Thank you very much, sir. And while we were talking, one of the panelists has joined in. He's CA Ravi Pani. Welcome to you, sir. And he's an advisor and CFO at Metro Hospitals and Heart Institute for the 8 years, and he's an expertise in formalizing business process for quality management, manage IPOs and PE funds, mobilization and treasury control, budgetary controls for operations, functional development department, and establishing internal control safeguard. And welcome to you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here along with us today. So, and now what we'll do is we'd like to have the views of Edwin. What are your views on the skill and the reskill and the upskill part of it? So, would like to hear from you.
Well, first of all, I want to say hello to everyone. I'm the newest member of IOED here. As I've told you earlier, it's my first experience of this kind of taking conferences online. Well, about the subject of today, I might say the following. I guess every country has its roots in rural development. Even if it's India, it's Republic of Moldavia, Romania, and so on and so forth. Because all the growths come from community development, especially in rural area. If rural development brings prosperity, urban development brings prosperity, and the country is growing, is right? I will tell you what's happening right now in Romania, because many corporatists are going back to their roots, to their rural communities, and developing their agriculture programs. And also there is a boom on what we call agriculture tourism. Why they are doing that? Because, as Mr. Ashana says earlier, there is a new opportunity bring by high-speed internet, broadband connection, and mobile high-speed internet. And that's why they are able to develop the rural agriculture. And also because they are new energy solutions, they are also coming back to their roots, and also helping the local communities to learn new tools and solutions. Also, affordable housing is a plus for this matter, and everything is going through. It's because of these new opportunities. As Mr. Gaburic says in his opening speech, the artificial intelligence is growing. While the people is having an increase in IQ from generation to generations of 20%, the artificial intelligence is going from 7 to 7 years to double it. And that's why, for example, in 2027, the artificial intelligence will replicate the human beings 100%. But by 2049, the artificial intelligence will be high advanced than humans. And that's why we need to be highly educated, not only the rural communities, but all of us. And that's my point regarding this topic. Is not my A+ study in rural development, but I can say that of course technology, especially high-speed internet and the new energy solution, bring the rural communities to a new top.
Yeah, thanks, Edwin. And one thing which you told very well, that while the urban population or the urban sector brings in the economy, the rural sector plays a major role in developing economy as well, and they are the pillar of any country for that matter. And each country, whether it's developed, developing, underdeveloped, they have this rural segment which is required to be scaled. And of course, the technologies which are going to come in, these are the kind of the way forward, which every country is trying to look in for. Data science, AI, machine learning, everybody's planning to get that to the grassroots level of the country, so that there's a maximum or the most amount of people are able to get to it. And I'll now move to Dr. Markandeya Rai, sir, for your views on this particular subject. Since you have done a lot in this area, we would like to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Colonel Indrajit Singh ji. It's always a pleasure to share views when you are managing the meeting. I can see the universal smile of Dr. Arvind Kumar Sharma ji, and great panelists having former Prime Minister of Moldova and representative of Romania, and always very familiar face of Shashi Asthana ji, and other panelists also like Brigadier Ibrahim, last time also he was with us, and Ravi Pani. It's great pleasure and honor. Topic is very broader. I can say that lot of discussion can take place. First thing is that it's very difficult to define rural and urban. Still, there is no universal definition for rural and urban. If we talk about Indian context, it is different. If you talk about Romania and Moldova and European Union and America or any other country in Africa, rural is, urban is different. Sometimes it is by the employment in the agriculture sector, sometimes it is by gadget, what is the urban and rural areas. So there are a variety of definitions, but perhaps if it is an international conference, we should go for a very broader view. And the way I feel that world has become urban from 2008, more than 50% population lives in urban area. But when you talk about rural, means less privilege or maybe the less facility, the way Mr. Sasi Asthana has mentioned about rural, that many educational other facilities are not as good as in urban area. So let us take it that way, and perhaps we can see in the context of India, and then I will come to Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea models, how it developed. First thing is that skilling and education is the key to all the problems. When we talk about sustainable development goals, which is the last opportunity which talks that nobody should be left behind, education is one of the goals. And in that context, India has approved the new education policy 2021 on 29th of July when cabinet passed it. There are a lot of hopes, opportunities, and maybe there are a lot of expectations also. But at the same time, we have to analyze the situation. If India will fail, world will fail. That is what we say in sustainable development goals. If India and China will not achieve, the world will fail. So I will talk mainly in the context of India, then I will come to the global perspective. And Mr. Asthana has also mentioned Anna Hazare and the village and how rural area in India is a model to see the example. First thing is that education should be universal, fundamental right. And in that right, literacy and numeracy should be essential to everybody. As we know that India has said in new education policies by 2025, it will address the issue of severe literacy crisis and serious numeracy crisis, where 5 crores, means 50 million children are not literate properly. We know that we always talk about the world is young and India is also young, and next decade is very young population in India, about more than 600 million population are young. In that case, I think India prefers to say that knowledge is God and we have the goddess of knowledge, and always we compare that it is a fundamental right of everybody to get knowledge. How to go for that one? There are many ways that we have to give more emphasis on school education, and urgent national attention is required. And we are always talking about youth, global youth, Indian youth, or youth all over the world. You can see that youth unrest has brought a lot of changes. You call it Arab Spring or whatever may be. But they brought changes from Tunisia to Algeria to Libya to Egypt. And if youth are not happy, government and people can't remain stable. It is very difficult. And because of mobile, because of technology, artificial intelligence, which former Prime Minister of Moldova had mentioned about artificial intelligence, and world is moving towards to dependency on intelligence, and lot of breakthrough is mainly in communication system. If we don't address, if we forget or maybe delay in addressing youth problems or youth challenges, what youth wants? Youth wants meaningful engagement in the national and global development. We should see that how we can involve them as a civic engagement among young people are low. we are not involving young people, especially the rural and poor young people are not involved. So if we don't involve because of information technology, because of communication technology, and communication technology has created a lot of awareness among the youth, time has come when we should see that how we can develop a better partnership with the youth, not only in India, all over the world. Otherwise, in our script also say that Vidya Dadat Vinyam, and I always prefer that knowledge, education, and health can't be negotiated. Both are very fundamental for the development. Any country want to rise and become the leader in the world, I think they should see that how we can have education was most neglected in India till recently, till now. I can say 1.7% of GDP was spent on education and less than 1% on health. How you can become Vishwa Guru if you want to become the developed world and you are the third largest economy? And that's why the new education policy of India has given a big hope when the first paragraph of that policy says education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. That is a very important thing that India has accepted. And now HRD ministry has been changed to the education ministry first time. After a long time, India has realized that education is very important if we want to become $5 trillion economy. And for that one, we should see that how we can go for skilling, upskilling, and reskilling, which is mentioned in the main topic, that education is not only giving the bookish knowledge, and which is what the new education policy is challenging, that those institutions should go for vocational training, see how institution can go for adult education, not just putting burden of bags on the children, rather giving them a rethinking, re-innovative ideas, and go for new idea and new skills, and see that how their full potential can be garnered. And most important thing, that rural education or empowering rural community, the way the topic mentioned, unless we bring the value education in the education system, moral, character, creative education, that is what lacking. Everywhere world is talking education for earning livelihood. That is wrong. We should go for the old ancient culture of India, of Nalanda and Takshila universities, which were the ancient universities when before the Buddha time, before the 2000 years before. And those universities, Bikramshila, Nalanda and Takshila, were making the people a human being, a universal global personality. And for that one, we have to see that how we can preserve our climate, how we can preserve our nature, how we can talk about forest and land conservation, how we can talk about renewable energy, how we can preserve our river and climate friendly farming technology. When we are talking about rural areas, we can't ignore the farming. Green revolution took place long before. India is talking about self-dependent Atmanirbhar Bharat. And just now, Mr. Asthana has mentioned about Taiwan. I can mention about Singapore. I can mention about South Korea. There are many models in the world, but India and big country don't need any model. Rather, we have all the information in our ancient script and culture. Simply, we have to revive that one. We have to see that how we can become a good human being, and to see that how we can promote the good human values in the world, and we can talk about globe is one family. COVID-19 has clearly indicated that the global problem does not know any boundary. We can't remain aloof. And you can see that in spite of population, there was a question by Adrian that how India is coping with COVID. I can see that in spite of our population, population is not our problem at all. Earlier we were talking that population, I can say that population is my power, and Indian who are living in in more than 110 countries, 30 million population. They are our power, and 1.3 billion population is a human power. And Abul Kalam has mentioned in his book Vision 2020, and that changed the thinking of India, that population is not a problem, population is a power. How to use this human power for the development of India and to make world as a family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is the source of information and source of inspiration for us. And now the way the Prime Minister is mentioning about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and he's saying that how we can bring the not only education policy, rather agriculture policy and other policy also, to have India to source of inspiration for whole world to come and having cheaper education and cheaper health facility. Rural, definitely, India lives in villages. About 66% population of India still live in rural area, but we are connecting the rural area by the same Abul Kalam. I will mention our former president, Dr. Kalam, that gave a concept of PURA, Pura, providing urban amenity to rural area. And the government is working to connect the rural area. And you can see that 3 bill has come for Kisan. How we can increase the income. Lot of politics is going on, even international community is involved. But we know that those bills are beneficial for Kisan, and their income will go, they can sell their products anywhere in any of the market, and they are not limited to. So we should see that how we can help India, and we have to spend on innovation. You can see that we are giving vaccine to many countries, not only neighboring country, up to African country and many other countries, up to Brazil. We are providing COVID vaccine. India needs to put more fund. The way India has mentioned that new education policy will spend about 6 to 7% of the GDP. That is a big announcement, and if India does it, I am sure that remaining 200 million population who are illiterate, they will become literate, and we have to give more emphasis on the primary education, which was neglected. We know that we have 800 universities, we have 20,000 colleges, but there are no teachers, lot of problem. Teachers-student ratio is low, and if you want to improve the rural community, if you want to empower rural community, we have to provide all the basic necessities and facilities in the rural area, including education and health services. There is no need for rural area students to come to Delhi, Bombay, and Pune and go to UK and USA for studies. Rather, if they have the college, university, and hospital, and they have the market, they will have a better life there than coming to the big cities where we are paying taxes, health taxes for pollution in the big area like Delhi, Bombay, and other cities, which are the most polluted city in the world. So I will say that India is spending money on innovation 0.60%. That we should put more money. India government should see that how the other country also should follow. USA spent 2.8% of the GDP on innovation. Rather, we should put some more money on innovation. The way we have done 2 vaccines for COVID, we should have some more innovation in not only medicine, in education, in industry. 4.0 revolution should become true in reality in India. And we should have all the defense equipment and everything indigenous, made in India, and 4.5 generation equipment. Then only we can see that we can become a developed world, and we can help the world also to come out of any crisis. There was all the mathematical model failed in COVID-19. We have the model for defense and strategic wars for 50 years ahead. How will be the space war? How will be the satellite war and missile war? But we had no planning for health for even 2 years. When COVID come, developed country like America was caught up without any mask, without any kit, and without any medicine. You can imagine that all logarithmic model from Harvard to Oxford failed. It means we don't give much emphasis on education, on health, anywhere in the world, whether we talk about war all the time, and develop equipment and technology for 50 years ahead, what type of war will take place? Star war or space war? Rather, we should learn lesson, and we should see that how we can go for developing some more technology, developing some more innovations to see that education should see ahead many social and economic problems coming 50 years ahead. India should take lead in that one. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful, sir. Thank you, sir. You brought in a very perspective of how it really looks at and how the things are and what are the ground reality, what are the situations like. Thanks for your insights, sir. I'll request Dr. Brigadier Abraham to give his views on this particular subject, sir.
Thank you very much, Colonel Indrajit Sindrada, sir. I'm also thankful to Dr. Arvind Kumar Sharma, sir, and his team for giving me an opportunity. Basically, our panel discussion is supposed to be centered around the skill. We should understand what is actually the skill. A skill is basically an acquired capability or capacity that can be achieved through a training program or vocational training or a planned program to enhance his previous acquired knowledge to achieve better, efficient capability. Why we should think of skilling? It's don't mistook with skill and education. Why we should go for skilling thinking? It's a very great subject as on today. Especially, let me only take the scenario of India. The power of youth is indubitable. India is the world's youngest country in terms of population, with 64% of working age group. That the growth of the nation is directly proportional to the skilled workforce, which India has only 4.69%. So it is mandatory for us to, each one of us, to go over, to think over, do it as an individual what you can do rather than. Government has got many schemes. Yeah, I'm talking about Indian government. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Skill India, Stand Up India. This may not have yielded the desired result because the social support may be lacking. So we do not wait for the government or NGO to do and wonders. Like IOED's done this panel discussion, we have to frame how we can enforce this. Every person, citizen, can be a social entrepreneur. One should understand the alarming poor ranking of 133rd rank out of 183 countries in Global Youth Development Index, where India stands. Why? How? How can we change? If this youth power is not channelized for development of the nation through skilling, it can be a destruction or disastrous to the nation. 73% of the youth are in rural area, as brought by General Asthana, sir. It's also, I'm doing this. It's not the question of demarcation of urban area or rural area. They need not to be brought to the urban area. If the 73% of the youth are in the rural area, bringing them to urban area for white or blue-collar job is not possible. So, reach up to the rural area, dissipate awareness of schemes, technology, facilities, and opportunities. This, we all educated persons can do it, and what I have done it, I will also love it. Convert these villages to smart villages through pooling resources within. I could demonstrate in Gujarat government when I was a director of an engineering technology institute at Wapi. 7 villages have been grouped into a smart villages, and subsequently Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, has given a white paper to the government of Gujarat. Another I could do is in second, when I was the vice chancellor, Gajrala. That's a village in which maximum manual scavengers were there. Subsequently, they're to be re-established, reinstated. I have gathered some few friends of mine, established some training, tailoring training centers through government expert firms and given assured in-situ jobs. As a human being, as a person, you can do wonders. If at all you see around your community around and do small things, small drops of things can make this. So some of them where I have a medical college within us, I was looking forward the bedside attendants. Maximum persons of there, those who are not there on part-time, I made them bedside attenders in the hospital. So such activities can bring changes in the grassroots level. These type of issues and changes to be addressed by each one of us rather than it will be cumulatively spread over the nation. So as a citizen, or whether it's within your area, it's your change. The change presently what Riser was mentioning about it. Now the educational system has been changed, being changed to national education policy of last year is another welcome change, and in which you can acquire skills at intermittently and develop their own talent or taste and corporate. I'll give you a small example. A farmer's son became a farmer. He got a lot of land. The same yield and production. If at all he also doesn't got his ancestry does it, there is no growth or there is no profit. There is no. It is mandatory for him to join the technology aspects developments in which latest trends and the facilities available to get better yield in the farming, which will make him profitable. Similarly, we do have many corporate developments of the government, like National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC, which has got a goal to upskill around 500 millions of youth by 2022. These types of activities, every government has been doing it, but to bring it to the ground level, it is, we need not to wait for an NGO to get your support. It is small organization in which I sincerely appreciate IOED and their views to bring this subject to the panels and to the audience. I am sincerely thankful to you, sir. Thank you very much. Over to Kamala Center.
Thanks, sir. Actually, wonderful, sir. It's very insightful what you have brought in, and very much points which are of concern today, and how we really scale, and what are the policies which are there invoked by the Indian government, and how it's really looking forward for the next step. While we were talking, we have our one more panelist who just joined in. He's Mr. Peter Chens. He's the Director of Education Division, Taipai Economic and Cultural Center in India. He's a lecturer, National Academy for Civil Services in Taiwan. He's Assistant Secretary General, London School of Economics, and Political Science Alumni Association, Taiwan. He's a Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Taiwan. And I really heartily welcome you, Mr. Peter, to the panel. It's really wonderful to have you here today. Meanwhile, you are getting online. I'll request Mr. Pani to, say a couple of words of his views on the skilling and reskilling. You're mute. Mr. Pani, you're mute. We can't hear you. You're mute.
Am I okay now?
Yeah. Now we can hear you. Yeah, now we can hear
Thank you very much. Thank you, Colonel, for my introduction, and of course, Dr. Sharma, the encouraging face that we have over here. We always look forward to him. And I've been hearing words of wisdom so far from everyone, and very knowledgeable thing. But my approach to the whole thing is slightly different. I take education and skilling in absolutely two different platforms. For me, the education is the basic education and the education for the schooling and the college. And then, of course, skilling is something which helps me in sustaining it. I've been working as a mentor to some of the organizations and to the ministry also. What I find is that, yes, knowledge is there. And they have wonderful, innovative ideas also. Many entrepreneurs, the startups who are coming up, they have good ideas, they have developed good products, they have developed very wonderful software. And of course, like Dr. Abraham says that, and Dr. Markandeya Rice have also said that our strength of this country is our knowledge. The education that we have, we can lead the country, and we are leading the country, the world. But when it comes to sustaining of it, the practical knowledge, the commercial knowledge, we are lacking. We have to give an overall education to our entrepreneurs. It is not the basic knowledge with which they develop the product or they develop the software. With my experience, what I have seen is that the commercial knowledge, the banking knowledge, the statutory compliance knowledge, that we have not been able to impart to the young startup entrepreneurs. So it's very important that there has to be some organization who will do a hand-holding for these people and make their projects, make their startup projects commercially viable. So I will add commercially viable as an art of skilling and the reskilling. Education is, of course, we have got enough education, we are knowledgeable, but skilling will help me to make my startup commercially viable and a profitable one. So I think in due course, we have to give our importance to this importance of commercial viability of our objectives. So we have to think about this, how the commercial viability can be there. Commercial viability is only possible that we have an idea, we are doing some work, and we are able to sustain ourselves till we make profits. When we make profits, and what do we do with it? We have quite a few statutory and regulatory authorities over here who have given us guidelines. There must be somebody to hand-holding and teach these guys what these compliances are. So if we are not doing it, then our business, our entrepreneurs will fail. That's many of the entrepreneurs I have seen who have very good ideas, very good knowledge, but their implementation is very poor. They have not been able to implement their knowledge, their objectives in a commercial sense. In spite of everything, they still fail just because of that. The legal compliances is not there, the statutory compliances are not there, and the banking requirements, they are not been able to fill it. They are not been able to get the funds at the right time what they need. So I would rather put the word skilling as something which is more commercial, to make them viable in this competitive world. That was basically what I was about to communicate, is that the theoretical knowledge and the commercial knowledge is two things which is very important for us to sustain. You see, developing the core knowledge is, of course, is there, but skill is something which we have inherent amongst us. We know what is our strength, and there has to be somebody to tell them, all right, this is your strength, and this is where that is what you have to build up. We may need a hand-holding person on it, but to strengthen our skill, to bring our skill to the forefront is the most important things. The inherent quality that we have, we may not know it, even education's definitely must be there, but the inherent good qualities, the skills that we have, that needs to be developed. And that is possible only when there is an NGO who is hand-holding it, or they have a mentor, or they have an organization who can create mentors to help those startup entrepreneurs. So I would rather consider as skilling as more important thing, because skilling is something which is there in us and it has to come up. We have to develop it. So my only request to this organization is that, all right, we have to help the people, may it be rural, may it be in the cities. Their requirements are different. The rural business is absolutely a different, and the city business is very much a different. Software is, of course, something we have developed very well. We are the best software programmers in this country. But when it comes to the non-IT business, there are many sectors which needs a hand-holding. And I think the wisdom that we have in this group, they can really act as mentors for those people. And that will be the thing when you have to help them in bringing out their skills. It's a skilling or the reskilling and whatever it is. This wisdom group can be a great help to these people. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to communicate.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And very rightly you brought in that how the entrepreneurs should be skilled as well, because that's the area which is being always never been spoken about and thought about. And thank you for your views. While we're also being joined by Dr. Naveen Madhu. He's a researcher, consultant in education and industry with more than 28 years of experience. And he's been working, he has worked in manufacturing, service and consultancy company in India and abroad. And he's also worked on the projects in Philippines, Sri Lanka, in the areas of human development, and that's really wonderful, sir. And heartily welcome to the panel. So I will now move to Mr. Peter Chains for his view on the skilling and the reskilling part of it. Mr. Peter.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Heartiest welcome to the panel.
Can you see me?
No, we can't see you. Your camera is off, so we are only able to hear you. I can't see your camera.
Is now okay?
No, the camera isn't there.
Because I already opened. It's fine. Thank you for your introduction, and also I heard a lot of words of wisdom as well. It's a very practical knowledge I learned. And I agree with the professor just mentioned, implementation is very important. And I would like to here to provide my point of view from my experience. Because in the past, I was the secretary to the Minister of Education in Taiwan, and we implement the so-called digital opportunity centers in our remote area in Taiwan. Because 2/3 of Taiwan are higher mountains. It's around more than 3,000 meters high. So we also have many remote areas, and we implement the so-called DOC, Digital Opportunity Centers. We make use of the space in the community, or some kind of abandoned schools, classroom, or community center. We use that space and to invest some computers over there and with some internet. And then we encourage our remote area people who normally they are farmers, and also their kids normally they don't go to school before. So we encourage them to go to the center to learn the internet, how to use internet from the beginning. So we also have so-called IT mentor from our university students, university clubs. So many volunteers of the university students they will to be a mentor to teach our farmers, our women in the remote area, and also the kids to learn how to set up the website, for example, because most of them they grow many fruits in the mountain, but they don't know how to market it, how to do the marketing. So we start to help them to set up their own website to sell their fruit directly to the city. So after many years, right now we have more than 150 centers in these remote areas, and it's quite successful because we help a lot of, no matter it's a young woman or the elders, they all learned a lot of new skill in terms of the internet and also the website design. And some of them even become the influential. So at the moment, we look back to many years ago. We started this project from 2006. And we think this project can be some kind of benchmarking for India because we have a lot of resource from NGO and also from some local government as well. We can find some place, some space for the center, and also to encourage our university students to help, and they can learn many basic skills to maybe they will promote their own production directly and also to reach the fair trade. So this is one of the way we are doing in Taiwan to also to right now we also have a side effect. It's a positive one. There are more and more students, they come back to the campus. So after so many years, the students, because they have the mentor from the university, although it's virtually, it's online, they learn a lot from the internet through the online course, the distance teaching. So they are become more interested in studying. So you can see that according to the WEF, in terms of, because there are so many criteria and the pillars of the ranking in terms of WEF, World Competitiveness Ranking. Taiwan ranked number 14 in the world, and especially for the drop rate. The drop rate, we are second lowest, just next to the Finland. So I will say that right now India is going to enter the 5G, just like other countries. Although it takes some time to complete that, but we can think in this way to have some kind of digital opportunity center to help those people in rural area to provide some skilling course or reskilling course. This is my one of my thinking to share with others. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. Wonderful, I think, and you're doing a lot of work in the skilling itself, and the way you're trying to bring in skilling in India and working on our papers and other methodologies what you're using. I think it will be a wonderful thing to do. I'll now request Dr. Naveen Madhu to unmute himself and give his views on the skilling and reskilling part and his work in this area. Dr. Naveen Madhu.
Good evening to all.
I can't see you, Doctor. Yeah,
Good evening to all.
We can't see you. Yeah, if you can switch on your camera as well, that would be really great.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, but if you can show your camera, so yeah, that would be great. Yeah, now we can see you.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, sir. First of all, I want to thank our Arvind ji and Mr. Inderjit for giving me an opportunity to talk on this eminent panel of persons. I was listening to all the talks, whatever these eminent people have been saying. And first of all, I will say that I've come from I belong to a small state. One small state. It is on the southernmost end where Mr. Abraham is also coming. It is for Kerala. So in Kerala, what I am highlighting the thing is that everybody was talking about education and what education can bring changes. See, Kerala is, even though it's a part of India, it is a state which has highest literacy level. You go to any rural area, you go to any urban area, you will find the people are quite well aware of what is happening, not only in India, but globally what is happening. This is what I have seen the big difference, because I have traveled to other places, almost all part of India and abroad also. So a big change thing I have seen that the awareness of the people. Like recently during pandemic itself, when the whole country was struggling, the students in Kerala, even in rural areas, were having all the facilities. Like at least every house is having a mobile, and even in fact, some places government have provided the mobile to learn this. So, but the one thing what is being lacking in Kerala is that, as I want to say that there are two things. One is education and one is industry. You see, it is just like two wings of a bird, or you can say that two wings of a plane. These things should go parallelly. Education as well as the industry should go parallelly if you want to move forward. Plus, and then how the education should go. How the education should go is that it should focus more on the skill development. Because I'm not saying that because blaming anybody, because so far our education system is in such a way that we are creating jobbers or people who are looking for job rather than they are looking for doing something for them. And the most wonderful thing during my research I have seen is that in many places, those who are highly educated are looking for job, and those who are not that much highly educated are maybe they look for a job, and end of the day they come and do some business. They become entrepreneurs, or they start doing some business. And the most funny thing is that the uneducated are becoming entrepreneurs, and under them you have the educated class working as a managers or something like that. This is, and many times this brings a very awkward situation, because why the question comes up, why the thing what an uneducated person can do, an educated person cannot do. So in this area, one of the core thing what as a researcher I had done is that I was trying, as a part of my research, I was trying to find out what is the big difference. And I could find out that, as Mr. Ravi Pani has said, that it's the inherent character. It is actually the inherent characters. Every human being have certain inherent characters. One is, and if you closely watch them, they have an entrepreneur character or they have an employee character. And I have seen that, like Make India policy and many of the policies are not, to some extent, are not successful, because the persons who are really needing or those who are really worth as an entrepreneur are not getting the chances for it. I have seen many places that they are really struggling. They are not getting an opportunity to get the projects, whereas maybe some other persons are enjoying the benefits. So the problem is not with the system problem is there, because like NGOs and organizations like IOED can play a big role identifying the right person, right individuals. Maybe it may be rural area or the urban area, especially in the rural areas, because the urban area people can get a lot of opportunity, but the rural area people are not are denied. We have seen that they are developing even small innovative things. I have seen many of them developing very small things. For example, I will tell you a simple one of the person, rural area found a person. He has developed a locking system. Locking system means that we have seen that helmet lock system. We call it as a helmet lock system, because nowadays the helmet is made compulsory, but the people with the full cover helmet, what happens is that they have to hand carry it by parking their bikes. So this guy has developed a small helmet lock system, which can, like locking system, because it is fitted into the bike. The moment you are locking the bike, automatically it will lock the helmet also. It's a small thing, maybe 2,300 or 300, 400 things. But what he is that's a skill. Nobody has seen it, and he has applied for a patent now. Now, this skill has to be developed, provide him technical support or providing him some other encouragements. So like this, in the rural areas, there are very talented persons. So these talented persons have to be identified. If they are encouraged and they are given reskilling or they are developed, definitely we will have a large number of small entrepreneurs. Because like our Prime Minister was saying that recently, he said that it is not government's duty to give industry or to create employment. That is true. It's not the duty of the government. And here we have a large amount of unemployed youth. Not only in India, globally we have a lot of them. And to get job for every one of them is not feasible. So the big solution, what we are saying is that the entrepreneurship development. Identify the right person who can be an entrepreneur and give him all the facility. Because I have come across many entrepreneurs, the big problem they are facing is that they don't have anybody to support them financially. One problem. Second is that they have a big problem of marketing their product because they don't have the technical know-how or something like that. So NGOs or the big people, if they can help them in this area, we have potential. Not only in India, we have potential. We have to look, we have to search for them. We have to search for them. We have to identify, okay, these are the real entrepreneurs, and we give them. This is because I have seen that, because an entrepreneur never likes to do a job. He does not like to be. He is not comfortable working under anybody. That is a speciality I have seen. Because some way or other, he comes out of it. I have seen guys resigning from their job and becoming an entrepreneur because he said, I can't work under somebody. So identify such persons. Going for that inherent characters, we have developed some systems which we can identify the character of that person who has the entrepreneur. Because I'm not saying it's a foolproof system, but we have identified. And using that skill, give them the best support, like financial support. I mean, or we can even give them marketing support or something, and so that they can develop that. And the thing is that give them full financial support. You can be a partner with the NGOs, or they can associate with the NGOs and can do their research work. Such things, if we are incorporating, I'm sure that once the individuals are growing, the economy will automatically grow, and there we can see a lot of big change in our system. In our ancient books, we can say that some of the ancient books we can say that this Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Swatiks. There are three qualities. That is called Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Swatiks. Or we can, if we scientifically say, we can say that those who are vibrant, some of them are vibrant, or some of them are, in motion or static. So we are looking for vibrant people. The entrepreneurs are vibrant people who can really deliver. So we can look for them, develop them, and I'm sure we will get a best result. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naveen Madhu. Wonderful insights. And we have a paucity of time, and we have to go to the next stage. And I will stop the panel discussion here. It's really wonderful. Everybody gave in a wonderful insights today. And this topic, which is important, like we already have brought in, we have kind of brought in the thought process of how the scaling is going to change. What's the next step towards it, and take the things further. That's really very important. So this is how the skilling has to be, reskilling has to be, and it's only the time will be able to tell us that how it's really going to work. And but definitely we have to have the strategy in place. We have to have the thoughts in place. Bring it on ground and convert it into a tangible result. So that's really very important. So going to the next stage, we were supposed to have some paper presentation, but due to the paucity of time, we will not be doing the paper presentation. We had the paper presentation which came from papers which had come from Dr. Chandrasekharan on sanitation and clean water. We had a paper on the skilling the rural communities by Dr. Naveen Madhu itself, and what wonderfully he brought it out that how really identify the skilling to be done. Then we had a paper which was received from the Taipai Education Center in India by Dr. Peter Chance on the nanotechnology by Dr. Ajit and Dr. Arun Kumar, and and other papers as well. And these were the ones which are being shortlisted by us, and they are the ones which we are sending it to the UN office from the platform or the IOED. So that's how we are going to be utilizing that. The thought process of the skilling which has come from all you wonderful people, and really you're doing a real work on the ground, and I wish that the work what you're doing for skilling, reskilling, gives prudent results in time to come. So having said so, before I go to the award ceremony, I will request our chief guest to say a couple of words. Dr. Garbuchi, I think he's left or he's still there? Dr. Garbuchi is, I think, Dr. Garbuchi, Shiril Garbuchi. So we will wait for him, I think, before he joins in, and we close the panel discussion. Mr. Garbuchi, are you there? Garbuchi sir, can you hear me? If you're there, then I'll request you to switch on the mic and say a couple of words. Nevertheless, I will request Dr. Arvind Sharma to give his closing remarks for the panel discussion.
Thank you very much,
Dr. Sharma sir,
the panelists, for wonderful discussions.
Right. So now we will just move ahead, and I think Garbuchi sir is not joined in. I think there's some problem with it. So we will now go on to the award session, and we had due deliberations on the awards for this year. There's, I think Garbuchi sir has joined. Sir, Mr. Shiril Garbuchi, if we will request you for closing remarks for the panel discussion from your side, a couple of words of wisdom, so that the IOED can take those words and proceed ahead in times to come.
Thank you. I was trying to move back to video and it was not working. So I would like to thank everyone for the nice words and good way of thinking. It's obviously that all of us, we have a lot of things to do in order to get and to be ready for the future time to come. And it's something that is very good for all of us to pass through and to become something bigger. And we talked today about the environment. We talked today about artificial intelligence. We talked a lot about education and about what we need to do in order to be prepared. And I think each of us is enjoying being in the process of becoming a better version of himself. Still a lot of things to do, still a lot of challenges, and being together and sharing the thoughts, sharing the opinions about what we believe. I think that would help all of us to have the best decisions on how we move and what we do. I would like again to thank Colonel for your good mentoring of these discussions, and again, thank you for Mr. Sharma and him for a good event. Thank you.
So, sir, just be there. We are not leaving. Just a couple of minutes more. Yeah, we'll, like I told you that we are moving on to the awards part of it. And last year, His Excellency Shiril Garbuchi was here with us, and when the event was here, and it was really wonderful to host him here in India, and had a wonderful discussions. And always, the awards are the most important part of the hard work which everybody is putting in year on year, month on month, day on day, to make the things fructify on ground. And that's where the recognition from the international organization from education development is very important. And just to give you one word, last year 2020 we had got the affiliation of ECOSOC, that is the United Nations consultative status, which is a very honorable thing happening to any organization, which is an intergovernment organization. And that's where, as IOED, we need to really work hard to keep up that momentum of getting awarded the ECOSOC by the United Nations. And it's everybody's hard work, everybody's association, which has actually been, the one which has supported us to get that particular affiliation. And the award ceremony for today, it's all about everybody's hard work. So we begin with first award, which is there, and the award goes to His Excellency Shiril Garbuchi for the international diplomacy and environmental development. And big round of applause to you, sir. It's really wonderful the way we have been seeing you all around and the way the things have been moving. A couple of words from you, sir, on this, please. Shiril, sir. His Excellency Shiril, will you like to add a few words? There. Your Excellency, Sir Shiril, will you like to add a couple of words? Can you hear me, sir?
I think he freezed.
I think so. Yeah, he will, I think, join in again. Maybe there's some issue with the camera, so we'll just wait for him to join in. His Excellency Shiril Gurbuchi, can you switch on your camera and say a couple of words to us as a words of motivation? Are you there, Mr. Shiril? Are you there? Can you hear me? Or your still camera is freezed?
Looks freezed.
I think yes, it's getting frozen again and again. Your Excellency, can you hear me now? Your Excellency, can you hear us now? I would just request if you can tell us, say a couple of words of wisdom. Please accept our, token of appreciation for the work what you're doing all over the world as international diplomacy and environmental development. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, he's trying.
we're not able to, I think your camera is frozen, so there's some problem with the network, I believe. I think he's logged out. So whenever he's back, we will try and speak to him. And the next award goes for the international diplomacy to General S.B. Asthana. He's been kind of the work what he has been doing in the international diplomacy for so many years now as part of the United Nations. And even today, when you listen to him, please accept our token of appreciation to you, sir, and heartiest congratulations.
Thank you so much. In fact, it's a great pleasure being part of IOED, and if as a team together we can put in something for the humanity, it will be a great pleasure and honor to do that. So thank you very much for this award, as well as recognition, as well as accepting me as a part of team.
It's our pleasure, sir, and definitely we have a long road ahead. Part of being a ECOSOC now. Thank you, sir, and congratulations once again for being awarded international diplomacy, sir. So, and the next in the series of award, I have the award for Mr. Fyodor for the international diplomacy. He is from Moldova, and unfortunately, I think he's not been able to join with us on this call. I congratulate him for the wonderful award he's got it. Next award is which goes to Dr. Markandeya Rai for the education development. Congratulations to you, sir, and really wonderful the efforts what you're doing and the work you have done in the field of the education. And I am very sure that it's really going to be wonderful time. The things fructifying on ground the way you are being visualizing and thinking about it, sir. And heartiest congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this award from International Organization for Education Development, IOED, and I congratulate IOED for getting accreditation from UN ECOSOC. I think a lot has to be done, and let us do more. That is my
sir.
Wish to Arvind Sharma ji and the whole team to see that we can work as a family to promote education for development through IOED, and to see that we can bring impact in the whole world as a family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. It's really a long road ahead after being awarded ECOSOC, and a lot of work to be done, a lot of mileage to be gained in that area. And education being the mainstream and the main pillar for any development and empowerment, we are, in fact, kind of committed to it, to do it in that way. Next award in the education development goes to Brigadier Dr. V.D. Abraham for his work in the field of education, and the way he's been imparting education in different universities, and has played the main lead role wherever he is. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to receive this award from the eminent, internationally reputed IOED. I know that creating a vision could be very easy, but executing with the sustainable effort by Dr. Arvind Sharma, I fail my duty if I don't mention Dr. Neha and Colonel Inderjit Singh and his team. Only they are taking out the best of our capability, and also this soft skill in which what we are doing at the ground level. I know that I'm a true ground soldier with a vision and a dream to work for the society and the community wherever I am. I look forward to serve the nation through IOED. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations once again. my next award actually goes. I missed out on the slide here. It goes to Mr. Edwin Gabriel for the international diplomacy. Again, my due apologies. I was not able to make the slide that way. Please accept my, our heartiest congratulations on being awarded the International Diplomacy Award from IOED. Mr. Edwin.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be part of this conference, and I want to synthesize it in just one simple sentence: knowledge is power. And besides that, we all agree, we must agree that 20 years ago, this kind of conferences couldn't be able to take part because of lack of technology. So here we are 20 years later, and we are marching forward towards this
great, sir.
This great achievement. Great to be.
It's really wonderful. Thanks and congratulations to you. We will be sending the soft copy of the award certificate to everyone. The next award goes to Dr. Sunil Parekh for the education development. I think Dr. Parekh has not joined the call. He's on the, just check. He's not there. So not an issue. So congratulations to him for a wonderful award. He's a dean in the Food Technology University and has been the pillar of building up the education system, and a lot of it he's doing on the ground. So congratulations to him for all the effort what he's been doing. Then is the next award, which goes to Shri Krishan Singhal for the education development. And again, Mr. Singhal has been very active in the education field, where he's imparting the education, bringing up the upliftment and the empowerment of the people on the ground. And heartiest congratulations to you, sir, for being awarded Education Development Award from IOED. Then the next award goes to Peter Chains from Taiwan for the education development, for the work in the skill and reskill what he's doing. And heartiest congratulations to you, Mr. Peter.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to join this virtual conference. And I hope in the future we can have much more collaboration with IOED as well. And in India, we already have 16 Taiwan education centers in different campuses. And during the pandemic, we still provide online course for the students no matter where they are. So there's no boundary for the education to continue for everyone. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words and heartiest congratulations once again. The next award goes to Mr. Ravi Pani for protection of human rights. Heartiest congratulations, Mr. Pani.
Thank you, Colonel Singh. I've been impatiently waiting to get this award amongst the group of wisdom that is there. I'm not an educationist myself, but purely a commercial person. By profession, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm practicing law, and if I can be any assistant to IOED as a mentor or to share my experience, I'll feel it as my privilege. Thank you very much.
Right, sir. It's really wonderful to hear from you, sir. Congratulations once again. Then the next award goes for the entrepreneurship development to Mr. Narendran, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He's been into the entrepreneurship for a long time, and wonderful entrepreneurs he's developed and got the new businesses and the new business models which he's created. Heartiest congratulations, Mr. Narendra, for getting the award. Next award goes to Dr. Ajit Kumar and Dr. Arun Kumar for the public health development, and they are a very active worker in in the public health development part, and they have written a number of papers and lots of thought process on this area. And heartiest congratulations to you. And the next award goes to Mr. David Kulu Otto for the cybersecurity. And he's into the, he I think couldn't join in for the call, but he works in the cybersecurity, and he's the one who is like doing a lot of work in securing the networks altogether. And last but not the least, the award goes to Mr. Colonel Inderjeet Singh for the AI and the cybersecurity. And with this, I congratulate all awardees who have been presented here for their hard work, for the efforts what they're putting toward the society, for the skilling for the skilling, reskilling, the empowerment of the society, which is very important. And without that, it's not possible. Without education, the empowerment is not possible. And we surely look forward the thought process what each of you have given on the skilling and reskilling. We'll try to implement it on the ground retrospectively so that these thoughts see the light of the day in times to come. So thank you everyone for joining in for the call and being part of it, part of the IOD with us. I wish everyone a success. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all the best, and God bless.
Thank you, Colonel Inderjeet Singh, for well-organized and well-managed meeting. At 5, you completed, and thank you so much for well-managed meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arvind, and Colonel Inderjeet, and Dr. Neha also for the great, and congratulations to everybody for this great achievement. And I think together we can do more, and let's join up and do more.
Maybe I can request Dr. Arvind Kumar to convey our best wishes to Neha, who was the strength behind the whole organization, and perhaps if possible we can share the contact address of all the panelists so that we can be in touch. I'm really impressed with all the panelists, including Colonel Inderjeet Singh and Asthana Sahab, Dr. Abraham, and even Adrian and former Prime Minister of Moldova. We should be in touch. That's why we should come.
Yes. So we'll be creating a WhatsApp group, sir, so that we are all in touch and all in communication. So that work we will be doing that.
The contact of all of us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day, sir. Namaskar to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Build a nice IOED.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day, sir. Bye bye.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Namaskar.